Excuse me, sir. There's actually two parking spots there. Could we get you to only take up one of them?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me back up a bit.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Afternoon. For somebody else. You guys are welcome to take a seat up here on the porch.
I've been sitting all day.
As previous, I will be recording.
Okay. Do you mind if we record as well?
More than happy. Hi, I'm Ian.
Hi, Jason McCox.
You look familiar.
Yep.
We met at the courthouse or something.
Yep, we sure have.
All right.
All right. It is April 11th, 2014, at approximately 15:06 by my cell phone. I'm here with Ian Freeman. Myself, I'm Sergeant Andrew Clare, and I have Trooper Jason Hickox, also with Troop G. Just to clarify a couple things for the audio tape. Mr. Freeman, you understand this is you recognize this to be an audio recording device?
I do, yeah.
And you agreed to allow us to record?
More than happy.
Okay, thank you.
Me too.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's your name, sir?
Rich Paul.
Rich Paul?
And I'm recording as well.
Okay. And I see there's a couple other people down there. I just want to make sure you're aware that if you should speak, you're being recorded. Can I just get your names just for the tape, please?
Mariah Tucker.
Mariah Tucker and
David
David. What's your last name, David?
Crawford.
David Crawford? Okay, thank you, folks. All right, Mr. Freeman, I know last time we spoke, we talked about the obtaining a voter identification card. Actually, let me back up.
Oh. Yeah, I had it in the past.
Let me back up. I forgot to do one part of the introduction. I want to make sure that you're aware that you obviously do not have to talk to me. That's correct?
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are agreeable to allowing us to talk to you this morning?
Yeah, the reason I wanted to talk to you about this is you said you were investigating them denying this card. I feel like if somebody else was in this circumstance that I was in, it would have been a very confusing situation. I know that you don't need to have an ID to vote in New Hampshire, but a lot of people believe that you do. And so my case is sort of a test case to see how the system works. So I'm hoping that what you're doing here is trying to make sure the system works better for you in the future. I don't know if that's what you're doing.
That is part of what I'm doing. Obviously, that's part within the protocols of my job specification is to make sure that the Department of Motor Vehicles operate smoothly and appropriate, that make sure that they're not violating any of the laws and statutes as well. And part of that is obviously, like I said, the internal controls of the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah, I support the government agents following the rules and not breaking them. So if I can assist that investigation, that would be
Okay, I appreciate that. When we talked last time, we talked about Keene. You mentioned that you had come to Keene to obtain your identification card. That you were denied that. I didn't get a description from you about the clerk. Do you remember what the clerk looked like?
They're there regularly. There were a couple of clerks involved. I don't imagine there's more than 3 or 4 clerks that actually working the place. I don't recall their names. If I were able to see a picture, I might be able to identify. They
That's why we bring more than one
recognized me
camera.
from when I went in there on licensing previously, and so that's why they knew that I already have a license, and I kind of set them off. Of course, as we pointed out before, the license wasn't in the name of Freeman, because when I was registered. So, yeah, I don't remember exactly.
And you said the license was under the name of Bernard.
The Florida license that I had, yeah, and the Hampshire license.
Okay, all right. And you said you came in after you changed your name at the MVA. I just want to make sure you obtained the voter ID card originally in Keene.
That's correct.
Okay. And you're trying to get a duplicate because you lost it.
Well, they actually confiscated it from me. What I was trying to do originally, if I'm recalling correctly, was prior to me trying to get the new voter ID. I had the original voter ID, and I was looking to get the New Hampshire driver's license. Forms of identification. Okay, I remember what it was. I wanted to go and get the New Hampshire driver's license under the name Ian Freeman, and I wanted to use my old Florida license, which is what I had at the time. and change the name like right at the start of the whole process. And they needed certain ID in order
Now,
to...
when was that? Was that in 2010 when you did the voter?
No, this would have been 2013,
Okay.
toward the end of 2013.
Okay.
And so anyway, what my intention was to go in and show them the New Hampshire voter card as a form of ID, because you have to show like 2 forms of ID in order to get the New Hampshire driver's license. So I brought in, you know, good court documents that show some courts using the name Ian Freeman, like Concord and Keene, and sort of showed this as like, look, this is my name, here's my old ID with Ian Bernard on it. I'd like to get this new ID under the name Ian Freeman. And they took the voter ID from me at that point, and they said, well, you already have a driver's license, so you can't have this, even though, again, the names are different on the 2 things. And they wouldn't use their own identification as one of the forms of identification to get the new license.
Okay. Do you remember when that was?
I don't remember the exact date. It would have been prior to, let's see, where it would be in relation to when I went through the actual name change. I think it was prior to when I went through the probate process of getting name change. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the case. Because what I ended up having to do was go through the probate process of the name change, and then eventually, you know, I had to get the license in the name Ian Bernard, because that was just the easiest way to do it, was to give them the old license, they then give you the new license in the same name. And then at your suggestion, the last time you came, I went back, showed them the probate name change paperwork, and they then changed the name. So I do have the Ian Freeman New Hampshire license.
Have you gotten the hard one yet? Have they mailed that
Yes,
to you? Okay.
it was fairly quick. So it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, given the trouble they gave me when I went in with the voter ID. But that's the thing about the voter ID, is it says right on there, this isn't to be used for any purpose except for voting purposes. And so that's why they won't accept it, because it doesn't have a date of birth on it, etc., etc. So even to them, it's not a valid ID, which was what was really confusing to me, is to, if this is not a valid ID for any other purpose, why won't you just issue it for the purpose of voting? And that was really one of the frustrating things for me with dealing with this process of being rejected. It's like, you won't accept this as an ID, a valid form of ID, but yet you're holding back on it like it's this really important thing to you. So.
Okay. Now, you said when you came and met me after you went to the DMV in Keene a couple of weeks ago,
yeah,
you said that you'd misinformed me earlier that you had gone to Nashua as well?
Right, you had asked if I'd gone anywhere else, and I misrecollected that. So yes, I had gone to Nashua on a business, was on business there, and I decided I wanted to go by the DMV there and see if they would treat me differently, because they didn't know necessarily who I was when I walked in the door.
Okay. Do you remember what date that was by chance?
It would have been the dates of the Liberty Forum, which was an event that happened in Nashua in late February, I'm going to guess, the weekend of the 24th, or that Friday. Okay. Or Thursday or Friday, I think it was the 24th.
Okay.
In February.
And do you remember anything about the clerk that waited on you there?
She was very nice. I don't remember much detail about what she looked like. Okay. But she was nice. You know, I had the official paperwork from the city of Keene, gave that to her. Everything seemed to be going fine until she noticed that, oh, well, you already have one of these. And I said, well, no, I need to get a reprint. She said, well, I can't really do that easily. So she had to go and talk to somebody in the back, and then she came back out, and then she made a phone call to Concord. And it was at that point, when she was on the phone with Concord, that she came back off the phone and she said, well, I can't give this to you, and if you try this anywhere else, you're not going to be able to get this.
Okay. All right. Just one thing, I see that Mr. Ian has walked in the back, Garrett Ian has walked in the back. Looks like he's blowing your flex attendant. Mr. Ian? Garrett Ian? Just to let you know, making use of a audio recording device, I just want to let you know in case you say anything, okay?
Oh, you never have to tell me that in public.
Well, I actually am required to, just to let you know, okay? Anyhow, so you don't recall what the clerk in Nashua looked like?
They all kind of similar to me.
And you said you presented the voter...
Frumpy lady, I mean.
Okay. The voter identification, excuse me, the voter identification, the voucher, the
right,
yellow
from
card?
the city of Keene.
Okay,
yeah.
And you presented that to them?
That's correct.
Okay. In looking at some of the different documents, just so you know, I did observe, did a little bit of research. I noticed that you did do a legal name change.
Yes, with the probate court.
With the probate court. In reviewing the DMV documents, I did observe that you had applied for your driver's license the day after that probate decision, and you did that under the name Bernard. Okay. Did you recall doing that?
The reason I did that was because there was just not it was too much of a hassle to do the name change prior to, so the process seemed to be a big hassle, and I needed to get the ID as quickly as possible. So that was my intention to do it later, as I'd explained to you, to change to.
All right. Did you recently obtain a Florida driver's license as well?
Did I obtain a Florida driver's license?
Did you apply for a Florida driver's license recently?
I'm not sure about that.
Not sure about that. Have you allowed anybody to use your identity to do anything like that?
What's that?
Have you allowed anybody to use your identity to do anything like that?
To my knowledge.
Okay, you haven't authorized anybody to do that? Okay. Anyhow, going back to the New Hampshire license, you did do that under a name that was not your legal name. And on the form it does state that all the information is true and correct to your knowledge under penalties of unsworn falsification.
Well, to my knowledge, that the probate court process was something that you can utilize to change documents on into the future, and I have full intention to do that.
Well, you had done that already. You'd already gone through the probate court and changed your name to Ian
Right,
Freeman
and
legally.
the documentation they gave me made it clear that I should go ahead and begin the process over time of changing that name on other things.
Okay.
So that was absolutely my intention to do.
Well, the problem is when you obtained that license from New Hampshire DMV, you did that in Keene?
That's right.
Okay. When you did that in Keene, you actually were required to use your legal name. You were required to use your legal name at that time, which you did not do, and you signed the form.
I was not aware of that.
All right. Well,
And I was not aware that the old name wasn't also still valid to use. I mean, obviously it's still on credit cards and things like that, but I haven't had the opportunity to change.
Okay.
And didn't the person you were working with there indicate to you that Ian Bernard was the only name that they would accept, that they would not accept the name Ian Freeman? I mean, that's why you got it in that name, isn't it?
There was a certain circumstance that, let's see if I can recall correctly.
My point is that you followed the instructions of the bureaucrat there, and if those instructions were wrong, that's on the bureaucrat.
I believe that I was following the appropriate procedure to get the license, to turn in my old license, to get the new license. There was, it seemed like it was going to be very, very difficult with the short period of time after the probate court to make that change. So it was my full intention to, and I have done so.
You have done so now. Unfortunately, at the time though, you did not do it under the proper form, and because of that, an arrest warrant has been issued for you for the sworn falsification of prohibitions. So at this time, I do have to place you under arrest. Do you want to hand the camera to somebody else? You may want to bring your wallet with you. I don't know if you wish to or not. Hold on a second here. Before you stop, hold up. Just in case. Okay?
That's not okay.
What are you charging me with?
That's
I just told you prohibitions and unsworn falsification.
absolutely not okay.
On a minor paperwork violation like this, doesn't it make more sense to issue a summons?
Nope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double lock these handcuffs. I'm going to check them for tightness, make sure they're not too tight.
Where do you intend to go? To the state police barracks or directly to the jail?
No, I intend to go to the state police barracks.
Okay, and we can bail him there. You will have a bail commissioner?
It's going to be up to Mr. Freeman to decide if he wishes to choose to utilize the service of the bail commissioner or not.
Do you wish to use the services of the bail commissioner?
I don't know.
Okay.
Depends on what the bail is, I guess.
If you want to be bailed, I will raise the money to bail you. If you don't, then I'm down with that.
Gentlemen, you want to leave it here? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know how to work this thing. I don't know if I'm doing it. It's not recording. There you go. Now it's recording.
Wow. Well, I gotta say, this is pretty absurd. It seems to me like he followed the instructions of the bureaucrat, and if the bureaucrat instructed him wrong, then he's a victim of entrapment by a state agent.
That's why we put cameras into those places, so you get them on record when they tell you wrong things.
I almost asked if you had a recording. Renee?
Front seat?
Yep.
You okay?
You want to leave your sunglasses here as well?
What's he being charged with?
Unsworn falsification.
Would one of you mind taking your sunglasses? Thank you.
Is this a misdemeanor charge?
Yes.
Okay. So I wouldn't expect more than a few $100s bail.
This is related to
If he
voting.
if he does use a bail commissioner, the bail commissioner is entitled to a fee of $40, so I would recommend agreeing that with you. Okay?
What class
Yeah,
misdemeanor?
we actually don't have to pay that until a later time. They can't hold them based on that $40. That's how the law is. I'm gonna have to start logging my police encounters so I can get them all to the. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna send picture pointers to the YouTube video. My probation officer.
You're a good cop.